Warning. Pro-Tri News is a podcast with different opinions, knowledge, and possibly fake news about triathlon racing. This podcast is for entertainment purposes only, and some stories may be dramatized for comedic effect. Enjoy.
Pro-Tri News on the day straight after the IRONMAN World Championships 2025 in Nice. Now, by some miracle, God's grace / a huge amount of tolerance and selflessness, we have Craig Alexander back on the show. Craig, why do I frame it like that?
Well, Mark, almost 12 months ago, we tried to do something similar in Kona, and our in-house tech guru / genius forgot to press record on the pod. So we chatted away for 90 minutes, all for naught.
Maybe the best podcast ever recorded, I thought at the time.
It was a great chat.
And in more colloquial language that our listeners are used to from me, Carl fucked it, basically.
Yeah. It was bad. It was rough. And then I couldn't even say face to Crowie about it. I was just like staring at my computer, and Pat and Mark were like, well, let's go get lunch. And I was like, guys, I really messed up here.
He was Pat, how upset was he?
Kyle was absolutely devastated, and he was terrified to see Crowie at the awards party. He said, guys, I don't know what to tell him. This is just terrible.
Well, actually, he didn't tell me to my face. He waited until I was on a flight back to Australia, and I got a message on Instagram. But anyway, let's move on.
And to those that don't know, because obviously a lot of our listeners aren't graced with the pleasure of like a lot of pros company like we are, Crowie, and I will blow some makeup his ass even to his face, though I would never do it over beers, is unanimously liked in the sport. So he has graced us again to come on, and we really appreciate it. And we had a race today, right? I mean, that is one for the ages. I thought it was as good. We haven't seen races that good since like the 90s, surely.
I mean, have we ever seen one that good at this level on the men's side? I don't know. I mean, I know we say it every year, it's the best ever, but it had everything. And for me, what made it so great was all the big contenders, bar one or two, were in the mix till deep into the race.
I agree 100%. I mean, that was one of the most electrifying races from the start. I mean, from the literally you would expect Sam Lieto to completely break away and leave everyone in the dust, and there was controversy from the start. You're just like, oh my god. Well, let's remind everyone there was a group chat called Attack. Literally, the group chat was called Attack, and that's what they were going to do, and they did it. But then Sam, at some point in the swim, midway. And just before midway, has anyone chatted to him or his team and know what happened?
I chatted to Richard Lieto a little bit, who had a day himself, by the way. So this group chat, to hark back, and I'll cover Richard Lielo's. The group chat had Jonas Schomburg, Jamie Riddle, Martin Van Riel, Andreas Salzberg, and Sam Lieto in it. I mean, they nailed that chat, by the way, because the four that went off the front were four of them, minus the guy who had to do a bit of breaststroke. So they do know, the athletes know exactly who's going to be great at what, and they wanted to go together, and it almost worked out, but not for the man that would benefit the most from it, which was Lieto, but Richard Lielo's day, right? He was out on the bike course on a moped. This is Sam Lielo's dad. He got a puncture on a moped on a motorway. He left his moped in a lay-by of a motorway, walked down the motorway, found a Lime bike, rode all the way into town, and he first saw Sam about 7K into the run. Imagine, and he knows Sam's had all this drama, all this stress. Can you imagine how stressed you'd be as a dad? But anyway, back to the race.
At one point, you were on the boat, weren't you, Crowie?
I wasn't.
He turned around and started swimming back to shore, yeah?
Yeah, it was after the midway point. They were on their way out for the second lap. And to be honest, he'd been struggling. I mean, he's a great swimmer, right?
Right.
And
really good, yeah.
He's a great swimmer. I mean, the last couple of editions of the IRONMAN World Champs, we've seen him be the aggressor, be the agitator. Last year in Kona, he turned it on from a halfway point in the swim, stretched it out. I mean, it's always his tactic, and it's a good one. He puts Magnus under pressure. He puts Patrick under pressure.
The Norwegians even, they would be gone.
So on the way out, he had not a great start. Jamie Riddle it was like he was fired out of a cannon. He took off. Martin Van Riel looked super comfortable. Salzberg looked great. Schomburg, they were all there. And they were looking back. It was, I'm not going to say it was comical, but it was obviously orchestrated. They had a plan and they were executing it well. Sam got caught. He had a slowish start. He got caught in a little melee. He was next to Wilhelm Hirsch. But then he's tough and he's a fighter. He got his way up to about 7th or 8th spot, but he kept dropping the feet. He kept dropping Lopez's feet. And that happened for the whole first lap. He would be on the feet, then off the feet. And eventually on their way out, he literally swam over to the right, stopped swimming, and was tugging at the neck of his swim skin. We weren't sure. Is it too tight? Is he having an anxiety attack? He took 1 or 2 strokes back towards shore. And then, pretty much the group he was with. And Christian was on his feet. Bloomy was having a decent swim. So Christian was on his feet. Now Christian's leading that group. That whole group swam away. And then Sam just got back in the fight and swam back up to the back of that group.
I mean, it's no secret I'm a bit of a friend of Sam's. I really like the guy. I'm pretty proud of him for, like, you swim a couple of strokes back to shore, you're about to give up. Like, in most people's race, you're over, and he got a grip of himself.
I mean, and we'll talk about how he looked coming into T1. I don't want to accelerate past this swim, but
no, we're kind of there. You're right. Like, in the end, Salisbury led out the swim, the fastest swim ever in Ironman history in swim skins. You know, that group was Salisbury, it was Jamie Riddle, it was Martin Monroe, it was Jonas Schomburg, who we all knew would blow through transition. But let's go with transition now.
Yeah, I mean, so then at that point, you had that front group that contained all those guys. Ultimately, then you had roughly, we'll call it like a group of 15 that ended up cutting down to 12. And so ultimately there was a group of 3 and then a chase group of 12 on the bike. Kyle and Talbot, you guys were out on that first punch out of
Kaiden and I.
Kaiden were, I mean, so that was when you could kind of see a guy like a Rudy Von Berg was under a little bit of pressure there. If we go back and look at some footage,
Kaiden, tell the story about.
Sorry, Sam Lieto in transition is what we wanted.
Yeah, sorry. I mean, so we saw everybody running through transition, and then all of a sudden, Mark and I saw. You know, you could see somebody walking because we were behind the fence, and then we saw Sam, who was with us, realized it was his helmet.
Yeah,
and we're like, Sam is just walking to his bike, gets on his bike, and then leaves at 10K an hour.
Honestly, it was a man that was about to drop out of a race. It was. I said to Pat at the time, and I was wrong, obviously, as we all were in our predictions and basically everything we say. He's done. He's out. He's done. He was. Honestly, I've never seen anyone look that
Was
bad.
he walking with Marquardt?
No, I think Marquardt actually got through transition, and then the cramps happened afterwards for once.
Oh.
Yeah, Marquardt made it through transition.
Marquardt had a great, he was a minute down. He was in that group. Like, you had the Power 4, the WhatsApp attack group. They were off the front.
Yep.
You had Nick Thompson. You had Benito Lopez in there. Gustav had a great run through.
Yeah, really good transition.
T1. And Matthew was right there. So, the first I saw it came up on the tracker. He went from 1 minute to 6 minutes down, like within miles.
It's mad, that.
So we went out onto, we're at like, what, 10K? Right at that first climb. Kaiden, tell us the story about what you gave the split to laid low to Jamie Riddle.
Yeah, so we're up on the climb, and obviously they're going really slow.
Yeah.
And so it's the whole first crew, and I was given the split, and I said 2 to Sam, and he looked at me and he said, laid low? And I said, yeah, and he just looked absolutely shocked. So I didn't even think he knew at that time that he was there, or if he was even that far back. So yeah, it was pretty interesting. But Matt cramped out of T1, Matthew Marquardt, and he went back to 6 minutes.
I mean, this is like an issue for him.
And he still got 8th place.
Yeah, like, let's be honest. The guy is so, he's like, he's like Terminator or whatever. He just comes, the Undertaker in the fucking casket. He does come back from this, but it's every race.
And he crashed in this.
He crashed.
Race. Still got 8th
On the bike.
He did what?
Yeah, he crashed on the bike.
Fair. On our preview show, I gave Matthew Marquardt some shit, but not really like as a person or as an athlete. It was just like the races he's won doesn't mean he can win this. That is ballsy. I mean, 4 or 5 minutes in a cramps and then a crash and still 8th at the World Champs. Crowie.
Awesome. I mean, he did it in 2 other races. He's coached by Andrew Yoder, who was a pro that I know Kaiden, your dad, used to race against, and I used to race against. He was a great biker, and apparently it's got something to do with just hyperextending his back in the swim and sighting. It compresses the L2 nerve and creates some sort of cramping issue. So it's not most cramps come from either electrolyte depletion or muscle fatigue, but you can get neurologic cramps, which is what this is. And they haven't been able to sort it out. But I've watched him in 2 races this year. The same thing has happened. And he doesn't panic. And he loses somewhere between 5 and 8 minutes each time. And then when he gets back and going again, he's not putting down full power. It looks like he's just trying to ease into things. And both Ironman Cairns and Lake Placid, he came back and won the race. And just looked amazing the last 90K on the bike and ran great marathons. So, but for it to happen at the World Champs and still finish 8th with a cramp, it's unbelievable.
So they start rolling out on the bike. Another athlete that made the group. So then there was the Christian group and all that. Magnus Ditlev, which I would say swim of his lifetime. He has been an athlete that was way further back and has progressed. And one of his best swims ever. And you would have looked at someone like Magnus and been like,
he's had some other good swims.
Yeah, and this is what I talked about in the previous show. I don't want to take away from Magnus's swim because he did have a good swim. But I think what happens is that front group went so ballistic that they almost like it shreds it. And then it's easier to almost make that second group, right?
Yeah.
They're not towing a larger group and then the rubber band snaps at 11th. It's 5 of them or less. And then the next.
So there are some really good swimmers left in the chase group.
Yeah.
The Uber swimmers go. And then there's some really good swimmers left. And Magnus isn't trying to hold the Uber swimmers anymore in one giant pack. He's just actually left with some really good swimmers and it's towing along.
It's a different dynamic for sure. And it was interesting watching them line up, not wanting to go back to the swim, but that attack group were on the right. Magnus was on the left. And Magnus came to a hold. He swam into the side of a kayak. A kayaker happened right in front of the boat I was on. A kayaker went in front of the left-hand side of the field and Magnus swam into the side of it and stopped and looked up. So he's had a great swim. And even midway into the swim, he was picking his way through and got up around the top 15. Like you say, that was a different dynamic because it wasn't just, the pace was high. There was a battle of attrition. People were dropping off one at a time and then slowly losing time. When the gap opened, it opened. And I think that almost the rest of the field and the majority, it came together as a chase pack one.
Are you sick of that chalky, sugary electrolyte drink that you've been choking down every day? Well, the new electrolyte shot from MNSTRY has you covered. It's super easy to take. You can just put it in your standard water bottle full of water, give it a shake, and it is easily dissolvable, easily consumable, and it will make you feel like you're not just drinking the same old electrolyte sugar drink that you usually do. Super easy to order that. You can just visit the link in our bio or go to MNSTRY.com. It should be on their landing page and order yours today. It's easier just to order 6 because you're going to have one and you're going to want more.
Yep. No, I agree. So now we're rolling out into the bike.
Yeah.
We're at this point, we know the first hour is going to be intense, but we're really all just waiting to get to the bottom of the climb to see the fireworks on the climb.
And to give some context for the course, the 2 steepest points of the course are the 2 kickers right at the bottom of the climb. And unsurprisingly, the guys the front boys actually didn't attack each other because they wanted to work together. So that front few work together and they just roll up them. They're fast because they are gunning. They've got Schomburg. So at the start of any leg of any sport, Schomburg's going to just drill it. And Van Riel's the same, etc. They go over it. But the second group I found really interesting. Magnus clearly had a whack at Christian in that group on that first climb.
He did right in front of me. Whenever we got to the start of that climb, Magnus went for it, put it on the gas, and KB looked at him and kind of looked shocked. I think that 1, he was there, and 2, that he was making a decision to go then, and then they covered him off, obviously.
I think that's a wrong move from Magnus. If you're going to attack KB or the Norwegians or those guys, don't do it on a punch.
Yeah.
Your strength isn't necessarily, in my opinion, the punch. KB has a punch. You watch him sprint. The guy has snap, right? So if you're going to take KB out, you want crosswind or you want a drag or you want something like that. And that group didn't that split up, but they got whittled down, right? So we end up with that front 4. Was it 4?
came in ultimately was 3.
Was 3.
Was 3, but that was when Riddle got dropped.
Yeah.
But it was 4.
No,
And-
Riddle was in the 3. Solversberg got dropped first.
Yeah, sorry, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And the chase group then was KB, Magnus, Gustav, Casper Storms, Nick Thompson.
And then Laidlow eventually rode up to
them. Now, we need to touch on Laidlow's bike. If you take out the first 2 time checks, as in when he was still struggling, after that, fastest bike split by like 4 minutes. If you take out that first bit, he rode across a massive gap. He was behind Patrick Langer. He was in 30th at some point, or 20th. He was a long way down. He rode past like 10, 15 people before the bottom of the climb. That's impressive.
It's crazy because not only is he arguably the greatest swimmer in the sport, it's not even arguably, he is the greatest biker in our sport.
This is his 4th World Championship in a row to have the fastest bike.
And he had the bus. By the way, he rode the first 10K like shit. I could outdo him for the first 10K, and he still had the fastest.
Mate, I just saw you on a line bike. I don't know if you're out there.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, it's like back in your day, Crow, when you used to race, it was always Andy Potts.
Sorry, you saying he was riding like Crowie back in the day?
No. It would be, Andy Potts would be out 3-4 minutes ahead, and then you and Chris Lieto and all that would come out a couple minutes down, and then Chris was the biker, and then he would go ahead. And so like there wasn't someone that was just so dominant at the first 2.
No, you're right. Andy, and later in his career, he tempered his swim to swim with the group. So, or kept the pace up to make the group a smaller group. But you're right. I mean, Sam's swim bike combo is incredible. And just the speed at which he closed the gap after he got going, and then rode through and sat on the front. And then when they got up on top of the Maritime Alps, the little out and back section, he's the one who broke it up. Gustav said today that when he shot out of that dead turn, I just let him go. I thought I hope I'm going to pick him up on the downhill.
But I'll be honest. So let's get ahead now. So the group is still ahead. Schomburg starts to suffer on the plateau. So there's a dead turn at the top. He starts to suffer and eventually gets dropped. And then you have the chase group. Now, the chase group actually got to within 50 seconds. And then they lost a bunch of time. And they lost time because Laidlow came off the front. And like Casper did some, Christian did some, etc. But Laidlow wasn't willing to tow them anymore. He's obviously worked so hard to close a massive gap. And they lost like a minute and a half. And then when he gets back on the front, he goes. And the only one to go with him was Christian. And me and Pat have talked about this. I don't know why Christian went with him. Matches.
And it wasn't his first match. I think he burned multiple matches on the bike.
We talked about this earlier today about KB's matches.
Yeah. So I think that to me will probably be the one moment that haunts him the most, where if he just said like, I'm comfortable to give Laidlow 3 or 4 minutes right here and just ride my own race
with your friends, the other Norwegians, and just chill in the group.
Yeah.
Which came back to him as well.
My take on it, and this is, I don't want to move forward too much, but I think KB, we only got to see the men race here twice, but my conclusion after seeing it the second time was probably that first hour, there's a little less action than we want there to be because the road is just so damn narrow. Like you just can't, if you're in that group of 12, you just don't really have an opportunity to make any passes. That was part one. And then part two, I think that what we saw today was this is a course for somebody whose power to weight is much lower than Kona, right?
I agree with you, except for Laidlow. His bike isn't super light. He is not a light athlete. He's taller than those guys. He's 6'3". He's taller than me. He's your height, Pat. And he's not super shredded and lean. He is a powerful rider that just rides really well. Now, I know he lost the race in the end, but if he hadn't had all that shit at the start, would he have had enough?
I think there was a couple of different things at play. Like Sam, I think we'd agree, Sam ideally would have wanted 5 to 7 minutes lead off the bike. When he had that issue in the swim, it looked apparent he wasn't going to get that, but he was still trying to win the race. And if Sam's to win the race, he can't be rolling into T2 with the Norwegians.
No chance.
So there was a different, I think, strategy in play there. But I agree, Pat. I think You know, at the press conference, KB talked about his 2 race plans. Plan A is to hopefully execute like he did in Frankfurt. Someone might be off the front by 10 or 11 minutes, but I'm going to do what I need to do. I'm going to stay out of trouble. I'll probably stay towards the front of this chase group, but ride a little within myself and run a 2:30. If that's not working out, I'll revert to plan B, which is work hard on the bike so that a Laidlow doesn't have 8 to 10 minutes. But you're right, he wasn't going to.
He did neither of those plans.
So I think he got mixed up between his plans, because he's in the box seat 90, 100, 120K in when he's with Laidlow. He just needs to run that 2:30. He doesn't need to attack.
But he didn't need to be with Laidlow ahead of Casper. No. He needed to be with Casper and Gustav.
What happened was if you remember, we were watching the race. They got the gap down to 50 seconds, and then Laidlow was like, "Okay, boys, it's time for you guys to do some work." He pulls off the front, and clearly there was tactics going on. I mean, it would be great to talk to one of the group, because all of a sudden that blew into 2 minutes right away, and KB was at the front, and there's 5 minutes of him on the screen being like, "Guys."
And we'll come back to who the most patient and brilliant athlete in the race was, and it was Casper. He was the best intellectual athlete in the race, in my opinion. And like, they can talk about it all you want, but Casper did some turns when he needed to. But when the crunch came, it was like being in a chase group in a cycling race. You know, like, they looked at each other. Who's prepared to lose this race? And Christian wasn't prepared to lose the race.
It's a game of poker.
And they were. And Christian got on the front of the road. And when Laidlow went, Christian covered him. And he worked super. I mean, you saw him out the saddle for how long? Covering him?
A really long time.
And Casper covered a big one too. Casper covered a big gap. I mean, I think they rode off the front, and then Christian closed that back down. He went with him.
I guess then where does this leave us then? Ultimately coming into the run. I mean, but before we get to that, like, who else?
There's some other stuff there. Like, Langer had a shocker on the bike, and we do know now that Langer's been ill since Monday, and we know now that Ditlev has been ill a bit this week as well. And Langer's bike, like, you can say he's a pack rat, and that's how he gets around Kona, but he was way better on the bike than this 2 years ago. And I know for a fact he's riding much better now. He was just bad today. So he lost loads of time. He's out of contention, which is nice for them, because they don't have anyone to worry about really that's going to run through them. Because, you know, like, Matt Hansen's way back. You know, these other Uber runners are way back. And once you've lost Langer, you know, like, it's between us. So he's gone. I will say, and I bag on him a bit because of the VO2 thing. Nick Thompson can descend a bike. Mate, Jesus Christ, he can descend a bike.
I want to give a shout out to my little Aussie mate. I think he was the ace that helped the other boys.
Oh,
he was happy to go to the front and do his turn. He took really great lines on the descent. He is an awesome descender. He's a great climber. And he was a really handy addition to the other boys in that group. He didn't just sit on the back and say, "Hey, I'm the least known guy here. I'll just take an armchair ride because no one's expecting me to do anything." He rolled his sleeves up in that ride.
Yeah, he did. And his performance was unbelievable. Because if KB comes into transition with 2 minutes on Casper and Gustav, which he could have had on Laidlow without Nick Thompson there, that's a different race. KB's then time trial racing. He's not surging against them. He's not closing gaps. He's not worried. He's with Laidlow, and he has, you know, Ditlev in front, not Ditlev, Martin Van Riel in front, etc. Like, he's comfort. He's in the driving seat. But suddenly, Nick Thompson brought his 2 closest running matches back to him. And fair play to Nick Thompson. Yeah, you know, the result, what did he get? 8th or 9th? 8th?
7th.
7th. I mean, what a race.
No. Unbelievable.
And I don't know if a lot of people turned into the YouTube chat, but I think all 27 million Australians were in the YouTube chat.
Oh my God, it was the Nick Thompson fan club, the YouTube chat.
It was insane.
Well, let's be honest, guys. He's got a hell of a mo and that mullet. If I had a rug like that, I might even, I mean, the 2 haircuts that Jamie Riddle turning up with that fade and the Nick Thompson mullet, us Australians were easily pleased. I'm not surprised everyone stayed up and got on the YouTube.
I think the phrase is basic bitches.
Yeah, we're very basic. Right. Offense taken, Mark.
Right before we go to the run, I think KB, if you look at his race plan, I would guess there was probably some insecurities seeing the way Casper and Gustav have been running. Also knowing that they can both descend way better than Christian himself. Yeah. And so he said, I need to send a flyer off the front if I can come off with Christian. So you saw that attack go, and then Gustav and them just... Gustav was so smooth on that descent.
That's such a great point, because I often think, what is the dynamic between the three Norwegian boys? If you train every day for years, you know intimately their strengths and weaknesses. You know when you're on a long ride who descends well. You know when you're doing a long tempo run who's strong at the end, who's got the kick. They know each other's strengths and weaknesses. And I'm sure they got to a point, and I don't know exactly what point that was, but I think it was on the bike somewhere, where all three of them were thinking, we're a big show here, the three of us.
Do you know what annoys me about them? And we all love those boys because it's really hard they're all such nice kids, but they piss me off because they talk so much shit that when they say something that's true, you don't know whether to believe it or not. And they have all said, Casper's running fastest, Casper's biking best, Casper's the strongest. And they've said it to us all week, and we all ignored it because we all thought it was Norwegian bullshit.
Except Talbot. Talbot put him on his pre-race podium.
Talbot sort of did, but you didn't pick him for the win.
No, I didn't.
But we should have done. But it's like...
it's a bold pick. I didn't see him on too many podiums.
Halfway through the race, I looked at everyone in the media room, and I said, I literally did the Ironman lady, Jasmine, and I said, you better get 3 Norwegian flags out. Everyone's looking at me like, huh. And I'm like, no, there's no one in this field that can run with them. They're all together on the bike. They're all running hot, and they're going to win it.
So Jasmine, let's just touch on her very quickly. I wasn't due to be here for the day, so I didn't have VIP. So I asked Jasmine, I was like, oh, Jasmine, can you sort me out? And she was like, sure, sort me out with VIP. So we had a lovely afternoon. Do you know who else she saw VIP? She is the G of Ironman. She is basically one of these women that's truly terrifying. And we have some Ironman staff in the room watching. Jamie, who does all the stats in the background, she's terrifying, right? Oh, he's nodding furiously. But she's also super lovely. So thank you so much, Jasmine, from Ironman.
She won't make that mistake again, because I saw you in there. You cleaned out the buffet. And they had to order an extra beer, so you're out.
Right, okay. Moving on back to the race. Well covered off. I appreciate you guys. My other thing with Casper, right, is we all slept on him. But they've had 3 now podium sweeps, and 2 of those he's won. He won the World Series one, didn't he? When they
Bermuda,
and he won this one. Like, when it comes to a head-to-head with them, I think it's his intelligence. They surge, they fight, and he just checks his watch, and close back up.
They should have had a podium sweep in Frankfurt as well. And Christian Hogenhag, I love you to death. If you wouldn't have had that moto draft at the front, it would have been in Norwegian podium sweep there. It's the honest truth. It's the honest truth.
No.
Let's
right. I'll get him to send you and Lionel his power file. Lionel can cry and retire when he sees it, and then you can talk to me about moto racing, because he is a weapon.
Leading out of transition though with Sam Laidlow and
Martin Van Riel
together. The best part about that, in my opinion, I got multiple texts from people that are like, why did they just go to the front? Like, they're not going to be able to hold that. But it's a testament to how Sam races, and I respect it and I love it, because for forever we've had people that have sat in a pack and then just waited for the run. And now we're finally at the point in our sport to where people are taking the cards that they have and saying, this is my hand. You can either come with me, or you're going to be at the back of the pack and you're going to be 20 minutes down.
Well, I mean, Laidlow always races with intent. Why would he sit down and let someone else run out of transition in front?
But he's dragged other people into that mindset, which is a positive, right?
100% it is, yeah. It's what made it such a great race today. I mean, maybe a lot of the guys we thought would figure up the front did figure up the front, but it played out in a way that I certainly didn't expect.
I guess it sort of played out in a way that I kind of expected. I didn't just think there would be the Norwegian dominance that there was. Can we do a number on Jonas Schomburg? Because I thought he did himself some real credit today. Like, he did what we expected. He was first out of transition. We all called that. He drilled that. He rode really hard. He blew his clogs a little bit on the top of the climb on the plateau, but then he descended well, and he ran.
He ran a 2:36.
Mate. And the first half, he ran super well.
Yeah.
And you know what? 6th place for Jonas Schomburg, your first time on World Champs. Like, I don't know, Crowie. I thought that was a super good performance.
Mate, he's had a great season. He turns up at Ironman South Africa. Apparently, he wasn't even planning on racing. He was just on training camp, gets 3rd. goes to challenge Rott. And first of all, he goes to
Frankfurt.
Frankfurt. He's off the front and has that mechanical, the handlebars, come off, and he wants to keep riding, but rightfully so. They pull him off the course. Turns up in Rott 7 days later, and he led the race for 6.5, 7 hours there.
It's the story of the year for me. Is Laidlow didn't know he was ahead until he got to the turnaround. I mean, that is the story of the year for me at Roth. So Schomburg, 6th place. Yes, I think he will have in his dreams wanted more, but if he leaves here with that, I think when he reflects on it, when he looks at the people ahead of him, he's going to be happy with that.
When it comes to looking good, staying comfortable, and rolling fast, Win Republic have you covered. I've been using Win Republic suits for a couple of seasons now. Zero chafe, zero problems. They look great. They'll cover up all manner of body disformities. And they're fast. They're really, really fast. Low watts, high speeds. What more do you want? And straight out of Australia, they are extremely stylish. If you want to grab yourself 15% off, head over to Win Republic's website and enter the code ProTryNews15.
I guess for me, once we get to the run, I just want to talk about how, iconic it was to see these 5 dudes running the first 10K of a marathon. And to me, I said to Mark, it's just going to be legendary photos from this, very similar to your era, very similar to the
Dave Scott, Mark
Allen stuff. I mean, it was absolutely. I just thought that moment was so cool for the sport, and Mark and I were riding just as fans of the sport, going, man, this is awesome to just see in person.
What about the echelon they had coming back into the headwind?
Yeah, of course. No.
I mean, that was, mate, it was awesome. It was awesome. 5 of the best in the world on a great course. And look, it's a flat run, but it's not an easy run.
That headwind was no joke, by the way, today. That was a 20-mile-an-hour wind, that. And it was like riding on a line bike with electricity. Riding back in was hard work.
It was hard.
Yeah, it really was. And I really appreciated the tactics, some of that. And we'll go into a bit of the run details, but we're talking about the headwind. There was a moment, right? Christian's ahead. Gustav's behind. Gustav's trying to close Christian. Bart Ehrnouts in the twilights of his career, like he's done. He's a lap down. He's still a good athlete. He ran Gustav up to Christian. As in, he sat in front, was checking. Gustav was off to his shoulder, and he ran way harder than he had. Got Gustav back to Christian, then peeled off. And
That's
to me,
awesome.
it is awesome because you know why? Gustav's fucking great. Everyone loves him. He's a super nice guy. And Bart Ehrnouts, not even a countryman, is like, dude, come on, let's get you back in this race.
That is so cool. I did not know that.
Mate,
wow.
It was clinical as well. It literally is exactly what happened. And fair play, Bart Ehrnouts.
I got to interview Gustav after the race, and we had a great chat. And I said, the sport is just better when he's up the front of races. And I think when you see stuff like that says more than anything when your colleagues, your peers hold you in that regard and do something in the midst of a race. I mean, it says a lot about who Gustav is and what he means to the sport.
I completely agree. So we kind of jumped ahead, but we'll step out into the run. So they came out into the run. Martin Van Riel and Sam Laidlow had a bit of a lead. They had about 20 seconds out of transition. Then there were the next with 2 Norwegians, which was Gustav and Christian. They came out next, and Stornes took a bit more time.
30 seconds down, yeah.
Yeah, it was 30 seconds down. Now, what I found really interesting there was Christian and Gustav closed down the front as fast as they could, and Stornes paced it. And I said to him, just catch them by the headwind. And he pointed at me. And it wasn't him saying, good idea. It was, that's exactly what I'm doing. And he caught them just as they turned into the headwind. He didn't rush it. He steadied up to them. And I thought that was like his ethos all day, right, Carl?
Yeah, 100%. Casper's one of those athletes that's always been super patient. He knows his limits, and he usually tries to play within those. And he did it pretty much to perfection today. Ran a 2:29. I would say this is our first sub 2:30 legitimate off the bike.
I don't think that's true. We've had one.
2.
We've had a couple now. And it's a shame that record went in races where it wasn't people running for the win because you lose that hype. But they were legit. They were the right distance.
Yeah, that's fair.
But they were just so...
Did you see what shoes Casper was wearing?
Asics Rays.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
They're legal now.
They're a lovely, legal, super fast run shoe. But yeah, he goes now. But then again, Gustav and Christian dropped him, and he let them go, and he checked his watch.
A 10K. Yeah. I mean, he executed with the patience and composure of a guy who's won a few world titles. And there was a moment there, or more than a moment, on, I want to say, the second lap, when Gustav was in front and Christian was behind, and Gustav had that forward lean. It took me back to 2022 in Kona. It looked like the Gustav we know and love for the first time in a long time.
Yeah, I remember that exact same moment on the second lap where it looked like he just had his wheels underneath him again, and you're like, all right, the dub is coming. And then as we entered the third lap in the tailwind, Casper started to make some accelerations. And I mean, ultimately he put daylight into the two boys, and then what was 30 seconds turned into a minute, turned into 2 minutes. And
120. It was 120 with the split.
We gave him a 120 split at one point. It was definitely more than that, but it was exactly 120 when I said it, Pat, because I wasn't lying to him. He looked at us and went, "What's the gap?" I went, 120.
He's so funny how he communicates out there, because I was next to him for a little bit, and he looks at me, and I was like, you can still get back in this race. And he was like, looked at me, and he was like, "Do you think I'll get lucky?"
Actually, Jim, my favorite communication. I was with Pat out the top near the airport, and the two Norwegians are gone. Then it's Casper. Then it's Sam Laidlow, and Laidlow runs past, right? And this is before he's seen his dad. His dad's only just got back from his moped debacles, and and Laidlow runs past. I was like, I was like, they'll attack each other. Keep at it. And he looks at me and goes, "They're so fucking good." And that's what he said to me. He just looked at me. He's like, "They're so fucking good."
He talked the whole marathon. That's what I love.
I love the guy. But yeah, like, I thought Casper, and do you know what was so noticeable to me? Checking his watch. And I assume heart rate, not pace. With the wind, I don't think he really cares about pace. He's too smart for that. Heart rate. And he just was on it. He knew he was a better runner. And if he ran to his capacity, the race would come to him. And it did.
Yeah, it felt like he kept his effort just a lot steadier for the majority of the day. You talked, Mark, about some of KB burning some matches on the bike, and Casper just kept things steady. And yeah, he's got a high race IQ. He knows to check heart rate. That's the only thing that's important, is how hard you're going, not how fast you're going. Conditions and course profile can dictate those things, but your effort level is the most important thing. And it's just the dynamic between those three boys, though, when Casper was off the front. And then you've got Gustav and KB, who's going to take the headwind section. I mean, what is the chit chat going on out there?
Mm-hmm. I mean, and it's just so cool to watch. Not only that, but I am going to miss this course as a world championship course. I mean, the dynamics on the bike, and then you get onto the run. Unfortunately, in Kona, you can't really ride next to the athletes. This has that full bike lane. There's 20 to 30 people all on line bikes riding. Just, if you're a massive fan of the sport and you just get to ride next to these guys running a sub 2:30 marathon, it's just absolutely incredible.
I just came back from the toilet and I heard that comment that the group, you didn't need to look at the helicopter or the bikes in the course to know where the leaders were.
Yeah, I was looking
there
for
was
it.
20 cyclists on the bike.
It was the peloton.
I wasn't even looking at that. Literally, from where we were standing,
Well, we know you weren't looking
you
at
could
that.
hear the roars of the people, whatever people were running by.
But
It was insane.
The fact you can ride alongside them, and the line bike has your speed in k's per hour. And when Casper attacked, we were beside him, and I was riding at 20. He's running 3-minute Ks. It was like 19, 20 K an hour. It was flicking between the two when he attacked. And you're just looking down, and then 6 feet to your left is the coming world champion racing. And there's just hundreds of people here.
The only thing you have to look out for when you're out there, though, is those big poles that stick out of the ground.
Do you mean the one that I hit last year, talked about multiple times, that I was cycling and hit a bollard? That surely, if you know me, you've heard that conversation you can't possibly miss.
I don't listen to the podcast, though.
Kyle, what happened today, mate?
Oh, well, Kaiden and I were coming back on the bike, and about 5K left to go.
Exactly.
I looked down at the tracker. Glanced down at the tracker, glanced back up, and on the rented bike, all of a sudden, the bollard's in front of my bike, and I nail it. And I'm in pretty rough shape, to be honest with you.
You skinned your ass.
Yeah, there's nothing left. I don't know if I'm going to be able to swim in Kona, unfortunately.
I'll be honest. Carl's ass isn't the prettiest at the best of times, but right now it is not good.
I think he was one to get a sacrum stress fracture, but he's not anywhere near red S.
Oh, yeah.
So I think that was his way to
bounced.
Yeah.
So, anyways, yeah, that happened to me today on the.
No briefs for a while, mate. You're going to be wearing boxes.
And we're all grateful.
Should we finish the race?
Well, Casper Stornes won it. He attacked in magnificent style. He upped the pace throughout. He had the fastest run of the day, right?
Yep. Fastest run of the day, 2:29.25. Gustav Eden, second place. Third fastest run, 2:32.15. And then Christian Blumenfeld, 2:34.38.
KB at the finish.
Ooh. One thing we know about Christian Blumenfeld is he knows how to rinse himself good and proper. I mean, there were times on that last lap he looked awful, but he wills himself and he winds his legs up and gets the turnover going again. And it looked like a painful last.
The 500 at the end. I mean, he cramped.
Insane. He was in the finish line.
But I wanted to say to him, mate, you've got 3 minutes, just walk. Because he was like panicking, he was cramping and he was straight legged and he was looking back like, oh my God, I'm going to get caught. Like, mate, you got 3 minutes. You got 3 minutes, bro. You're okay.
I got a question. I mean, KB 2:34 is a great run, right? But
worst of the year.
Okay, so that's my question. So what contributed to that? Is it been a long season? Has he gone into the well too many times? Or was it the tactics on the bike? I mean, there's a couple of things that could have come into play to contribute to all of that.
I mean, look, I think we talked about the matches he burned on the bike, right? I still am of the belief that 3 Ironmans in a year is a lot. And what did he do in Texas and what did he do in Frankfurt? He absolutely lit those races up.
But the 2 guys that beat him have also done 3 in the year.
Yes, Mark, but they didn't go to the well and run 2 low 2:30 marathons.
Remember how easy KB could have gone in Texas to win that race?
Well, that's where the problem lies, right? And I think it was the match on the bike personally. I don't think it was those races. But the other 2 are fighting for positions the whole way. They're fighting for seconds because they're losing points. When he's winning the race, if anything, he should be the guy in the most control because he won them both. To be fair, Frankfurt, Hogenhaug made it hard for him, but he won it comfortably. But why does he build a 2-minute gap, 3-minute gap at the end?
Yeah, because the difference here for me is why he lost today a little bit too is those races made him the favorite amongst his peers, so that when the pressure gets put to him in the race, they have the ability to say, "Dude, you got the yellow jersey." Because
I'm not chasing this down.
I'm not doing it. It's your job.
All you. Yeah.
And that's the pressure that he brings to himself, whether it's right or wrong, it doesn't matter. But it is absolutely there, and he wears that.
Yeah, I'm gonna say though, it definitely is the matches on the bike, 100%. I mean, you guys said it earlier. Like he stood up for 20 seconds out of the saddle to catch Laidlow. Not only that, but then when Sam went early and Casper tried to cover it, Christian also went with him. So that was another match there. Going up the hill where me and Kyle were, yeah, he had to burn a match there. But if you think about it, Frankfurt and Texas, he didn't have to ride obviously like that hard.
He's been a pack rat all season.
No,
he's been a pack rat.
Not in Texas.
Don't call him a pack rat.
No, we love to call him a pack rat.
But what I will say is think about all the times he's cramped and like he's blown on the run. He didn't blow today. He ran a 2:34. But Milwaukee,
no,
what was that?
He blew today. He blew today. He blew today.
Yeah, but I mean, also with his cramping. So yeah, he blew and ran a 2:34, which is pretty impressive. But Milwaukee, overbiked, cramped. And then we have last year in Kona, overbiked, cramped, dealt with a lot of stuff. And then today as well, overbiked and cramped.
I feel this
it's happened every time.
I feel this is a little different to Milwaukee. And I mean,
yeah,
in that era, he was chopping and changing distances, chopping and changing bikes. He had Paris qualification and Paris preparation, so he'd be on the road bike. I mean, some of those PTO or T100 races, he was getting on his time trial bike for the first time right before. And I don't care how used to a position you are, you use muscles at that intensity a different way. That's going to bring on, that's just inviting disappointment into your life.
So this was different. I tend to agree. I do feel like, though none of us picked him for the show, I think we didn't because we tried to be exciting in a way. And also we sort of bought into this idea that he wasn't on the form he was on. And maybe that actually turned out to be true. Like, because honestly, at 80K into the bike, when he's so close to the front, we were like, oh my God, none of us picked KB.
I didn't pick him because I listened to Jack Kelly's podcast that said he lost too much weight.
I mean, I don't.
Can we go a little further down the results,
Please,
tab?
yeah, I want
because this is really cool. Martin Van Riel, 4th place. We didn't even know if he was going to be racing a month ago.
That is a brave performance, because he not only had he twisted his ankle, had loads of issues with it, because it's not just rolled his ankle, got a swollen ankle. He's obviously had some tendon incursion issues, all sorts of shit. He then crashed his bike in the week as well. He's covered in road rash. And he sits out the front of the race for the whole time, basically comes into transition in first with the front group, and runs himself to 4th. Kudos, Martin Van Riel, is my opinion.
Let's take a moment to appreciate an awesome talent. I mean, he's had 4th in an Olympic Games, 6th at an Olympic Games. He's the reigning T100 World Series champion. I mean, I've seen him winning Super Tri races. He's a superstar.
Yeah.
He's a superstar. There were question marks on his preparation and the injuries and the crash, but he is a superstar.
Yeah.
Sam Laidlow, 5th place. We've talked about him enough in his mental strength. Same with Jonas Schoenberg, Nick Thompson, Matthew Marquardt, 8th place, top American. And then Patrick Lang, second fastest run split of the day, 9th place. He was ages back.
Mate, he was in 30-something at one point.
32nd.
Ages back. Ran a 2:31.33 to finish the day in the top 10. I think that's a win for Patrick.
I don't think it's a win because it's not the result he wanted. He rode like shit. He's a way better rider than that. There's something like he has been ill this week, whatever. But to have the balls as a 3-time champion not to drop out when you come out of transition in 32nd place. How many people, if you got 3 world titles, you come out in 32nd, you're DNFing.
I want to give him a shout out.
Yeah.
For a couple of things. The first thing, which I thought was so out of character, was him rocking up to the swim start in a leopard print. He looked like an accountant going to a frat party. But, I mean, that's something I would have expected Jamie Riddle to show up to the start line in. And I interviewed him pre-race. He was nervous this morning. And I chatted to him after the race. He was gutted. He was throwing out the awful R word, retirement. And he was disappointed because he's a prideful champion athlete.
Yeah.
And I think when the dust settles, he'll be proud of that effort.
Yeah.
Mate, he should be really proud. He should be proud of that effort. For a dude that's won this thing 3 times and was clearly on the back foot today, and to give the effort, I mean, this is a really hard run course, and the dude just, I mean, he went for it. We saw the time he was chopping down on Jamie Riddle for 9th. Like he was racing for 9th, like he was racing for 1st place.
Mate, like from 32nd to 9th on the run, when there is nothing in that for him. He is not an athlete that has fucking 9th place bonuses. There is no money in that for him. There's no glory in that for him. There is just pride of racing. And
that's why he's got to the level he's at. Because the money and all these external things don't matter when you have that mindset, and it's about excellence and continuous improvement and high performance. And those other things are huge bonuses, but they don't make you dig that deep 6-7 hours into a really tough race when it's a lose-lose. But I think when the dust settles, I hope he doesn't look at it as a lose-lose. I see it as a win.
Yeah.
Well, the one thing he will never regret grizzing and running hard for that 2.5 hours. He won't. He will never look back on that and be like, oh, I wish I just didn't bother suffering and dropped out. He'll look back on that and be like, I did myself proud.
It'll be one of his proudest. I mean, it seems silly to say, but I have a chat to him. Have a chat to him in 6 or 12 months. I reckon he'll be super proud of that effort.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
10th place, Jamie Riddle on debut. Super awesome. Jamie's done now 3 Ironmans this year. I think that Jamie is a force to be reckoned with in our sport, being a young guy and continuing to come up the ranks.
He did say he was... he said, lots of people said, I'm going to blow and I'm going to prove them wrong. We did say 100K. And he did more than that.
He exceeded that.
Yeah. He exceeded
expectations.
And do you know what? He backed it up with a solid run. He lost a few places on the run, sure. Just a good all
top 10
around.
is good to hang
Good
your hat
on.
on. For,
Oh, mate, for a first time out, too right.
Mate, I like him. I know his dad.
Alec.
I know Alec. Alec introduced me to Jamie 15 years ago in Kona. I think he's good for the sport. My daughter, who's 20, she follows him. She's like, he's so good. I mean,
Didn't they go on a date at one point?
well, no, they did not. Mark, thank you very much. But I like his personality.
Yeah,
I like what he brings. I've got to say, being at that press conference on Friday, I love this current crop of athletes, male and female. I think they are such great ambassadors for our sport, and I like Jamie.
I'm with you. And I think 10th, maybe he wanted a bit more, but it's about what his profile this year. It's better than his profile this year necessarily. He's had a few real blow ups. He's had a couple of standout tier 100 races. We knew he's great on the bike. We know he has some work to do on the run. Solid.
Whether you're a beginner or chasing the Kona qualification and you're in the market for a new bike, the Ventum Tempest has you covered at a advantageous price point and 2 colorways. That's right. They just added a purple colorway. So if you're not kind of into the gray, blackish color, the purple one is one that can get you taken care of. They also just launched the new GS1 gravel bike. So if you're trying to get into some more adventure stuff rather than triathlon stuff, be sure to give those a look. They have some beautiful new colors. So if you're looking to get some new bikes, N+1, everyone wants a new bike. Everyone wants the newest, latest, greatest, coolest looking thing. So visit ventumracing.com and get yours today. Quickly, we'll just cover through the paid places. So through 15th. So 11th place, Nathan Gerber, bouncing back after 2nd place at Leeds. Huge for him. Christian Hogenhaug, wife just had a baby.
I mean, we know
12th place.
I'm amazed he's even here. He did Frankfurt, Swansea, Lake Placid in 3 weeks because he thought his wife was giving birth this week.
Yeah.
She gave birth a bit early. So then he's been at home with a newborn baby, barely training, has loaded up that many races.
Crazy.
And then comes to this. A fair play, kid. And he was lower than that. He ran up some places.
Yep.
Fair play.
It was good. 13th, Rudy von Berg. Probably not the day that he wanted to have.
Right, this next one. Rudy von Berg. Yeah, okay.
But Sam Long, 14th place. I honestly was like, if Sam Long gets a top 20, it's good day for Sam. With how far back he would be on the swim, he swam great.
6 minutes down.
I've been pretty critical of him this season, and for him to be 6 minutes down in this race, as opposed to usually in those 200 races, he's 4 or 5 minutes down. He hasn't been swimming great at the middle distance, but he was able to turn it on race day.
I would say a massive win for him. Also,
shout out to Greg Harper.
Sub 240 run as well.
Yep, huge result for Sam. I think I said 15th was the best he could do. He got 14th. I mean,
8th fastest run split, 239.
Yeah, nothing but respect.
Honestly, good result.
He's a solid athlete, mate, and I like Patrick. He gives 100% of whatever he brings to any day. He fights for every step. And yeah, I mean,
he knows he's not even top 5ing when he steps off the bike. Best case in the world. If he runs a fucking 220, he's not top 5ing. And yet still he grizzes it out. Fair play.
Yep.
You had Castor Stepniak in 15th and Finn Grossa-Friese battling it out, finishing the day within 15 seconds of each other. Casper Stepniak had it in the end, 15th place, last paying position, $3,000 goes on with it.
2 things about those guys. I saw them both on Saturday morning. Finn Grossa-Friese just won Copenhagen. He's the youngest athlete in the field.
Yep.
Copenhagen was 3 weeks ago.
Broke the German record. 7:27, if you don't mind.
Ran a 2:32 off the bike. You are not recovering from that in 3 weeks because he knows he's too young to be really competitive here, and he needs to get paid.
He also won Ironman Austria, and am I correct in saying he did Roth as well?
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, that's
top
a crazy,
10 in Roth, right?
Crazy schedule.
And Casper Stepniak, I will personally say I'm very glad he survived the descent because he had a crash in the week and he snapped his base bar and he was having some trouble doing his brakes and hydraulics. So I said on Friday, bring it to the Canyon booth. I'll borrow one of the mechanics there's tools and I'll fix your bike for you. And then and I look at you with Crowie as well, went out that night. And on Saturday morning, I got reminded by Bjorn that I had to fix his bike for him in the morning. I got woken up. I could barely see, and I put his brakes on for him. We got it going. And you know what? It worked fine. So
nothing to be worried about.
All is good that ends well.
So, what were the other takeaways from this week? And
You can close your ears real quick, but we're going to talk about some DNFs. Magnus Ditlev DNF, like that's huge. That's huge.
I'm led to believe he's been sick all week and he's brave facing it, is what I've been led to believe. And I think it showed from minute one on the bike.
He's had a tough season, though.
This has been a tough season.
Yeah, it's a bump in the road. This guy's quality. He's a class athlete. Not his best season. He'll be back.
Fair.
Well, how old's Magnus now?
how old is he?
Yeah.
27.
Right. He's young.
He's
so young.
He's got a decade of high level racing if he wants it.
Antonio Benito Lopez, I thought that he was going to have a great day.
And he DNF'd.
Yeah, he ended up.
He was running a long way into the run as well.
Yeah.
He had a great start. I mean, he was the final guy who made that selection in the swim.
Yeah.
And was there or thereabouts in the beginning of the bike. But yeah.
He was doing quite well.
It's a pretty hard group to stay on that, though. When you talk about the names we talked about in the front boat group, if you're the last one on that group, you are in a hurt locker.
Anything from Daniel Backegaard? Did you guys talk to anyone about that? No? I mean, he's still under a new coach this season, so I'm sure there's still some solving going on.
We haven't seen... You remember there was a few years ago, he got a podium at 70.3 Worlds.
Had a great race.
He had the fastest 70.3 time of all time for a short period.
Western Australia, really good race. We haven't
incredible
seen,
race.
Yeah.
We haven't seen that for a season or two now.
We'll see.
He's had a couple of decent T100. London, he was solid. He was fifth in London. He's on the way back up, but just not there yet.
Another fun takeaway from the weekend is the first time Christian ever raced an Ironman World Championship, he won. And then Gustav's first time he ever raced an Ironman World Championship, he won. And now Casper's first time to ever race an Ironman World Championship, he won.
A great stat.
Are they just...
You want another one? You want another one? Another stat is this is the first time we've had a world champion podium. So people that have previously won.
I was keeping that up my sleeve.
Oh.
It's the first time in history, I think, on the men's side that all three spots. Well, Casper took his title today, but two other world champions on the podium.
That's so cool.
That is cool, yeah. I quite like that Casper is his own man. That's a stat I like.
Well, that he's like not in the agent complex that...
Yeah, he's not with the Santara group, Giant, all that shit. He does his own thing.
It's all different.
Yeah, he has Pinarello. He has no shoe sponsor. He's short of a few sponsors. And Craig, do you reckon he'll be all right tomorrow?
I think he'll be okay. I think there'll be some emails in the inbox and the phone will be ringing. But one of my big takeaways at the finish was he was on the ground so happy, emotional, of course, thanking his training partners. And they hadn't even crossed the line yet. That was the first thing he thought.
He was crying.
He was crying. And the other two boys were equally emotional for him.
Yeah.
Like, it's an unbelievable dynamic, guys. White line fever, when you get it, the gloves are off, right? And I think these two things can coexist, but you don't see it too often in high level sport where you just want the best. You want to win, but you also want the best.
I think it's even more than that because, like, when Casper went and Christian went with him and they started gapping Gustav, Christian was looking back and telling Casper, "We've got him. He's dropped. Let's go." Like, they are that ruthless in the race, but outside of it, that is so impossible to imagine switching that on and off the way they do. And afterwards, they'll all see the coverage. They won't hold it against each other. And somehow they're still great.
Gustav ran a PB, 2:32, over the moon with his race, but he was just more happy for his mate.
That's so
mad.
No, those three don't get enough credit for how they handle that stress amongst themselves as competitors and friends. And I was watching how the three of them interacted after the finish, and I just thought, like, I need to aspire as a person to be at the level that these three are at interpersonally. They truly want the best for each other, and they're so happy to see it.
To add on to that, I think that this is also the craziest thing about it all. They do not have a coach. They do not have a coach. Let me repeat that again, because a lot of people say, if Joe Skipper would just get a coach, he could win. All these athletes, if you just get a coach, you can win. A coach is the answer. A coach is the answer. A coach is the answer.
Talbot,
They don't have a coach.
they don't even have an entourage.
It's crazy.
Casper was in there on his own. Christian's mum's here,
Yeah.
but there's no one around
And
them.
Gustav's girlfriend came to watch.
They're on their own.
Casper's wife's here.
Casper- The
His whole
really nice
family's
thing
here.
is Casper's whole family's here. But for this race, what you mean is they're not traveling with like physio, doctor, bike mechanic, coach, all this shit. They just do their thing, right?
It's them and their family. There's
Crazy.
no entourage around.
It's awesome.
Self-coached.
Can we give our flowers a little bit to Arnold, because he's the one that built this whole thing? Like 10 years ago, the Norwegian Federation was not a thing in triathlon, right?
It's
and then
not
all of
Olav.
a sudden,
It's not Olaf. This is
No.
Arnold.
Yeah.
This is the original Norwegian builder of Norwegian
And
triathlon.
Harold, he raced in Kona, didn't he, back in the day?
Yeah, and he's now married to
Renee Kiley.
Renee Kiley, like former pro triathlete,
Yeah.
super happy, living their dream life, doing a bit of age group coaching. He built this pathway.
But 7 years ago, we had no idea who these guys were. They then sweep the podium at Bermuda, the WTCS race, and then we were like, wow, this is the first time this has ever happened before for
Yeah.
a country. And then they come to long course, and then now we got to experience it. I mean, I'm getting emotional just because I've been pretty good friends with them for a while, but it's crazy to see how the progression goes, and everyone goes through crazy seasons of life. I will never forget in the T100 race in Dallas, Casper's having such a bad day and was pissed, takes his shoe and smacks it on the ground, literally right in front of me. It goes 20 feet in the air. And I was like, dude, I don't know if this guy's going to have what it takes. Like, he's got to like hone it in. And now he's world champion. So cool.
I mean, let's not forget the race that Casper had in Oceanside.
Yeah, that was a
April.
shocker.
It was terrible. But we all knew he was.
Yeah, of course.
Is that-
Of course.
Is that the thing to do? To go to Oceanside and have a bad race?
Lionel should give it a
Patrick,
whirl.
Patrick did it last year.
Yeah.
Patrick did it last year, yeah.
Yeah. So I guess if you
16th
rocked up to
last year.
Oceanside, don't win, have a bad race, show up to Kona.
It's almost like you should sort of taper your effort for the right time of year.
Yeah. That's
There's
true.
there's a novel idea. Peaking, periodization.
No, don't be silly.
So,
Can we do a lap on Pro Series real quick?
I've got it. I got one. Before we
Okay.
go into Pro Series, can you give your mic to Jamie? Right. So Jamie's a behind the scenes guy we have here, right? Jamie is the guy that commentary, right? The commentators have not a fucking clue what's going on, Craig included, and they have no idea. And there is a guy in the background that spams a WhatsApp group with all the takes, right? And he's not on the mic. He's a behind the scenes guy. He looks awkward as shit with the microphone now. What were your highlights of the day, Jamie?
I love seeing the five guys coming off on the run. It was like a cross country race. It was incredible to see that level of competition. I think for me, I look at the stats, I look at what people can do. There's a lot of people talking, would they break 8 hours? And so a lot of people are saying, well, KB had a bad day. Well, he went 7:56 today. And if you look back, Sam Laidlow did 8:06 last time. So KB went 10 minutes faster than Sam just 2 years ago. And we're saying it's a bad race. I mean, no one knew that we were going to have a 7:51 and a 7:54. So when you really look at like what these guys did today, I mean, they all had great races. And what inspired me was all five of those guys thought they could win. They weren't given anything. What do they say in Australia? No beg your pardons were given. I mean, they were just going for it. So for me, I mean, it was inspiring working with Craig.
Oh, don't say that. Fucking hell.
No,
But he's right, by the way. His first point is a great point.
he's a legend.
7:56.
He's a Navy SEAL, this man. He's awesome. The commentary, Mark Justino, is not as easy. You got 12 different people in your ear. Jamie is feeding us the information, and he predicted when everyone was saying all week, will 8 hours be broken? He's like, it'll be close to 7:50. He said that. You said there'd be a few people. You said 2:30 would be broken as well. So Jamie's awesome. We have a saying in Australia: you can't polish a, you know what. Well, Jamie,
turd. We're good.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Jamie does a good job at doing that.
Yeah, I think you can. I mean, what people don't see is this is a production. I mean, not only do you have the pros going on, you have all the age groupers, you've got all these VIP parties, you've got 2,500 athletes coming in from around the world. You've got staff that are controlling the pros that are also worried about where are the boats going to land on a rocky beach? You know, it wasn't until this morning that we figured out where the boats were going to be, which was like 800 yards away.
And 4 meetings
And
later.
we had like to load 20 media people, and we had to do a shuttle of boats, and there's all this stuff going on. And so, you know, I think it's good that like the job that I have, that I support Craig and all the other people, is they can focus on what they do, and then I can focus on like, just get on the boat. But like we're up late, like printing.
Craig, just get on the fucking boat.
We're like printing out 20 pieces of paper so that like something happens, like I can just write on a piece of paper real quick and kind of show it to him on camera and say that. And then I don't have to like say much more than chicken scratch, and then he can go for 2-3 minutes and he's got it.
Jamie, thank you. And also, right.
ProTri News is thrilled to welcome back longtime partner of the pod, Waterfall Bank. And look, I've been thrilled. I've been a Waterfall Bank customer for almost 4 years now. My business, I've got to send and wire money all over the world. And look, I've got a Big Four bank as well. They can't wire that money for me. Waterfall Bank is able to do that seamlessly, no problem. If I ever have an issue, I send an email. I get an actual person replying to me within an hour every single time. Couldn't have been more thrilled as a Waterfall Bank customer. I would encourage you to go check out their website and how they can help you.
This leads us nicely on to, and because Jamie's actually a contractor, we can debrief it. I know Craig is contracted. How did Ironman do this weekend?
Look, I think on the whole, right, there was a consensus. This is the final Ironman World Championship that we were going to see in Nice. Talking to everybody, I think everyone loves being here. We understand what happens in Kona and how important that is to the brand. For me, I think on the week leading up to it, I mean, Ironman was pretty flawless, right?
I mean, everyone knows my take on it. This is better than Kona. It just doesn't have the age group aura draw of Kona. It's a better city. There's more restaurants, there's more bars, there's more everything. And then the way Ironman executed it here, I've not seen a problem all week.
No, the only thing, I mean, we all talked about it. We said, look, we cannot wait for 70.3 Worlds to come here next year.
6,000 athletes here.
Yep.
Double the size in this city.
Let's remember.
Does that mean we need double the size of venue for
our live show?
Live show?
Oh, we need 8 times the venue.
We can rent the stadium.
Yeah. So they've got that going on. Let's not forget there were 5 Ironman events that happened today around the world. So just think about the scope and scale of this business. So I think that's one. The only thing that can probably be critiqued from my end today, and Jamie, if you want to give a little color to this, is if you can, is just the timing splits on the broadcast were terrible, and they pulled them, and then eventually they came back on. So I think that there's a discrepancy around GPS versus timing mats. That's me being.
It's one of those points that they know. They know. But
I mean, that's what I get to nitpick on. If that's the worst thing that happened today.
No, go on, Jamie. Please.
We're going pretty good, Jamie.
I would just say, you know, Ironman's investing in so much technology that they're trying to be at the front, and there's going to be people that are going to be ahead of them, but they're trying new things at World Championship events. So things don't work all the time, but you should see these after actions. I saw race director Diana Birch, like after the start of the pros, she calls someone over, write this down. And she writes down 5 things that went wrong that like no one else would see. Write this down so we can fix this. I mean, they are on it.
Yep. And again, if that's my critical feedback from the week here and the event and the scope and scale that it goes on, I mean,
mine's actually much worse. When you log onto the tracker, when you go to events, the World Champs wasn't the top one. The whole thing's a shambles.
That should be
shambles.
No. But that's great.
No, I'm joking. I mean,
cancel it.
No, but it should be at the top.
Well, of course it should. But I'm not actually complaining about it.
Diana, write it down.
Critical feedback's important.
There must be some other stuff. Congestion for spectators. I mean, that's a safety thing. Like
bollards, pull the freaking bollards out, man.
Bollards on the bike spectator path. That's a fair point.
I think, for me, the other big one that we kept talking about was we love the 4-lap run course.
Let's do that in Kona.
I am now.
Take this to Kona. Come on.
I wasn't. Right, give Kaiden the mic. Kaiden lives in Hawaii, but he is wrong on this point before he gets to talk. Right, I am now on Pat's side. I think the laps of a Leahy drive would be better.
No way.
Before you go,
Yeah, go ahead.
So Craig, what we've talked about on the show is we want there to be a party atmosphere on Alihi Drive all day. And what happens the minute that you go up Palani and you turn left on Queen K, it's me, Mark, a few other spouses, Luke and Beth McKenzie, and that's it.
True, by the way.
Hang on. I'm normally there with Luke and Beth.
But I mean, there's 11 of us out there after Palani, and I think
For 28K.
so. Why not do 3 or 4 laps up and down Alihi? You've got barbecues, you've got a party atmosphere, and today reminded me how important that.
Right, let's find out why it's a bad idea first, and then you can retort. Sorry. Go on, Kaiden. He lives on the island. He lives up the hill.
Okay, yeah, I do live in Kona, and I've watched every single Ironman World Championship in Kona besides 2019.
Right.
So I've been around it for quite some time. Obviously, Crowie's been there more. But anyways, when I think of Kona and I think of the race today, don't get me wrong. I was like, before coming to this race, this is my first time in Nice. So I was like, right off the bat, Nice, it's a cool, like you said, restaurants, bars, everything. So everyone's walking around. You walk everywhere. It's great. But at the same time, I was like, I don't really feel the aura like around race week as much, like because it's just a bigger city. But then the 4-lap run course, it did make me go, wow, this is incredible. This is really cool. But at the same time, just Kona and the Energy Lab and being out there, obviously for spectators, it's not the same. But if you ever do get the chance to go out there, there's something different about being out there and watching those guys struggle. Crow, you have something to say on that?
No, mate, they're all great points. And I think I have an emotional opinion, and then I also have an opinion that is the course has changed in Kona multiple times anyway. So I know when I broke the course record, it was
all right, mate.
It was a different run. Sorry, is that a backdoor brag there?
I love it.
It was a different course and not as hard a run course as the course that Luke had set the record on. There used to be 2 separate transitions, as you know. T2 was down at Keaho. They'd run into the pit.
Yeah,
I think that's a harder run. So when Patrick broke my record, they changed the course a little bit. Now the run course is completely not completely different. You don't go out Alihi Drive as far. So now they're in town less, and it's a different entry road that they've built in to the Energy Lab. So I'm torn. I think great sports have history and there's deference to what happened in the past, but I also think sport, you got to be progressive too. And I think, man, I used to love the isolation of the lava fields, but I think as a spectator event, you know, you guys talked before about the crowd and the helicopter and the entourage of the flotilla of bikes on the run course. And I mean, Google the photos from the race here in the 80s. It was exactly the same when Yves Cordier, who's now the race director, was running. It was 30 deep down the promenade. So I think that's cool too.
You're pro Alihi Drive 4 laps?
Well,
3 laps?
You ain't riding bikes on Alihi Drive.
But there's people out front on the street like that. The race is dead for an athlete once they turn left off the top.
It is. I will say, it is the hardest race on the Ironman circuit to spectate.
Yeah, and for me, as a sport that wants to grow its online visual spectators, watching someone run with no crowds, no fans, without them having the context of the history of the sport, because they're new people that come in, dead empty rows and a bloke running beside, yes, it's lava fields, but it just looks like a bunch of rocks on the camera. It's naff.
Well, there's 2 perspectives, and I think the sporting landscape that we live in now, you can't ignore that. If you're trying to grow an online presence, if you're trying to get a following, if you're trying to put together a broadcast product, there's nothing worse than tuning in to watch a race, and we all do, and there's no crowd there. Even being there's nothing worse, but actually watching online is just as sterile. So selfishly as an athlete, I'm glad I got to run through the lava fields on my own, but I can see the other side of it. And what about this for a lap?
There was another subtle brag there. He was on his own. Because he was winning. He was winning.
No, mate, I could have been in 10th or on my own, meaning there was no crowd out there. But what about this for a lap? You go up Palani, back down Palani, out Alihi a little bit. There could be, you could put together. You could
do best of both worlds too. Do 2 short laps on Alihi and then go up onto the highway for a little bit. So you get the isolation, because I know some athletes do want that.
Some athletes might want the isolation, sure. But like I actually think
Mark can't be on his own for 2 minutes. He doesn't like the isolation.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm a people guy. I get lonely. And also once I turned left on Palani, I walked until I got back to Palani. So my one experience there was quite long. Jamie has a thought. Come on, mate, you're in it.
I just have a take. As a race director, someone who puts on events for a living, you have to adjust. Cities are only getting bigger and more crowded
and more expensive.
The people in Kona don't want us to be there. So imagine if you're down a Leahy Drive and you're doing 2 or 3 laps, now you're not impacting the entire community. They're going to want you to be there. Maybe then you could do 2 days of racing like they did before. So, I mean,
you open up the highway way earlier in the day.
Yeah, you're opening up the highway because they're off, and now you're just back and forth on Leahy Drive. You tell all the residents, like, rent out your homes. They're renting them out anyway. And now you get the permit. And now you're there for a long time.
And Jamie, they are renting them out for bank as well.
Yeah, well, the Pro Tri News House is right on a Lee Drive. It's a waterfront.
We don't have that Oakley money yet, but we're getting there.
We're working on it, guys.
So there's people, obviously, we love being a sounding board, but there's people smarter than us that are going to be making the decisions going forward, and we'll see.
Carl, don't sell yourself short.
To be fair, they ignore every suggestion we have anyway, so this definitely won't happen. So
I don't know how many people have hit bullards, but
we've done a pretty. I mean, we're just a bunch of bros that are doing our own thing, kind of like the Norwegians. They're just a bunch of bros doing their own thing. They're successful. We're successful.
A bunch of bros. We were in the media room today, and there is us. Thus far, we have.
How many times did someone turn around?
Oh, mate, we have Kaiden with us.
Some darts.
Yeah. We have a few of the lads in the back corner, and we're trying to watch the race, and we're sort of having fun. And the actual journalists that are writing look at us like scum. Honestly, absolute. We are the degenerates of the Ironman.
There's a class system in the media room.
100%. Oh yeah. They look at us like,
we're the frat boys.
Podcast
we're the frat
bros in here. I would be surprised if we get invited back to the media room.
Do you know why we're in there?
Why?
Because we have a bigger reach than they do. So fuck your typewriter. Anyway.
2 other announcements before we get into the Pro Series. 2 other announcements that happened this week. One, Experience Oman is going to be the title sponsor for the Pro Series going forward.
Let's Pat take this. He understands the industry.
Yeah, I want to give a little bit of clarity on this because it wasn't, again, it wasn't celebrated enough, I think, by Ironman in their press release and in their announcement. So the Experience Oman partnership will provide stability for the Pro Series to go for 5 years. And I think that's the biggest thing that we wanted. For me, this is a huge plus for Scott and Scott Deroux and his time as CEO. This is a big part of his legacy. And this was frankly, this was a big question mark for all of us to say, is Scott going to promote and feel the love for the pros that his predecessor Andrew Messick did? So for me, for him to have this series for 5 more years, I think this is going to be an amazing springboard. I'm super happy that they made this initiative happen, and all of the athletes should be really stoked.
Pat, is it understanding that this investment is the largest we've ever seen in triathlon from any brand perspective, whether you're comparing Ironman to 100?
Yeah. So presumably, I'm going to go a little bit inside baseball here, and I'm going to share that I knew that Experience Oman was looking for a partnership in endurance sport, and originally it was in cycling. I'm not sure if this is the same group. In Oman, typically they've got two buckets of cash. They've got one for sport and one for tourism. I'm not sure if what they were planning to do in cycling was the same,
bucket of money.
Yeah. So, this is in the neighborhood of $10 to $15 million per year, I would presume.
Fucking.
So let's think that they're, going to be, like I said, it's going to be able for them to really make a foundation for the Pro Series here.
Yeah.
Do we have an idea of how many years this is running? Yeah.
Yeah, 5 years.
I mean, that is huge.
Yeah. So I think now this will be, and look, this was done on the back of the success that Ironman had used in Ironman New Zealand for 70.3, not Ironman New Zealand, for 70.3 Worlds in New Zealand, because then they basically had a case study of saying, hey, here's us bringing 6,000 racers plus 2.3 additional people to a race. Here's the economic impact.
Yeah.
We think we can do this to a region that doesn't have that. Obviously, Nice has a ton of tourism. But a place like Oman for an event like this at this scale, it's plug and play for Ironman.
I'm weirdly super positive about this one. And it's honestly just from a selfish, having traveled the Middle East perspective. Like, I've been to pretty much every country in the Middle East. Honestly, the only one I'd go on holiday to is Oman. It's super nice.
My parents have been. They said it's incredible.
Yeah, and the only one I would go definitely, like, I like Bahrain. We get hosted very well there, and they are quite progressive in the way they do things. But Oman is actually like one of those places. If I'm an American, I'm an Australian, I'm not that close, and I want to tick off an experience like that. I know we're coming across Ironman fanboys, and we are, because we just had a wicked day here, wicked weekend here.
And they supported us hugely.
Yeah. And we're really grateful for it. But I'm not saying it because of that, I promise you. We bashed on them with so many other things. Oman is really good, by the way. Like, it's a super cool country to go do a race. And the fact there's going to be a world champs there, I can get on board with. Like, it doesn't feel like one of these desert races we're going to go and do that's around a fucking car park lot, and they don't want us there.
Yeah, and
Oman host tourists well.
I want to just clarify and celebrate this a little bit more and what triathlon can do for these regions. So triathlon can affect, essentially, what Ironman does is it brings a stadium to a city. So Oman didn't have to build an F1 track, although I'm sure they've got one. They didn't have to do anything special for this event. They get to call Ironman, and it's a plug and play solution for they want to promote tourism there. It's a no-brainer.
Yeah, and it's other things that people overlook, that, like, you can ostracize these areas of the world that don't agree with your frame of politics for the treatment of women, etc. But the likes of Bahrain, the number of female Bahrainian athletes they have participating in sport has tenfold increased. They had hundreds of Bahrainian women competing in triathlon in the Bahrainian 70.3. So if you have any kind of objection on that front, like, I kind of feel like isolating an issue never solves the issue if you have an issue with it. I don't desperately, but I just think it's good for the region as well. Like, anything we can do to promote sport in those areas where sport isn't held in a regard, where it's an equal opportunity sport. And Ironman is the best equal opportunity sport in the world at the moment. It's paid
First people, equal pay,
equal everything. Like, I think it's brilliant. And I do you know what? Selfishly, I just quite want to go back to Oman. I really enjoyed it.
There you go. The other announcement was 2029 70.3 World Championship will be in Oman. 2027 is still open, but we're led to believe it is coming back to the U.S. potentially in 2027.
I have not heard that. Where did you hear that?
Allegedly.
Okay, for 2027 70.3 Worlds.
It's potentially coming back to North America.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I'd love to see that in.
What would be a great host city?
I think Boulder. It's challenging to probably try and do it in September during football season, but like, maybe if you can swing pushing it to August, like move the dates around, things like that.
What about finish running into Folsom Field?
Wouldn't that be something? Like the Boulder
with a football game that evening.
Yeah,
Can we swing that?
Now you're dreaming.
Okay.
So that's a huge announcement. Do you want to take a lap on Pro Series quickly? We can do the schedule. We can do that in another podcast. But just how the series is shaked out now. Christian Blumenfeld leads the series by roughly 1,000 points. Casper Storns second place.
He'll be all right.
Gustav Eden third place.
KB. Right. Okay. Storner's just beat him. They're chasing. But if you now have to back them on a 70.3, it's KB every day of the week, right? I know he got beat today, but he
Two flat tires at 16 minutes, roughly. So
he's still better than them at 70.3. I don't care if he's tired. I don't care if it's the end of the year. He's
certainly not losing 16 minutes.
I mean, I think he still wins it.
They both, though, to be clear, the series is not over. They still have to go race and start and finish 70.3.
They are injury immune. There is, and I think it comes back to Arrow. It comes back to this endless base miles when they're young, this volume of just steady stuff, enjoying sport, training for fun. They're just strong. They're built for training.
They're durable, man. They are very durable.
They ain't stress fracturing. They're not like random injuring. And I was wrong when I talked about the course, by the way. I said it was technical descent. I didn't realize the way round it went. So it actually goes up the technical side and down the straight side. It's fast, ripping, straight descents. There's not big risk involved.
Yeah.
KB. Poor.
3 other big movers on the Pro Series now. Jonas Hoffman from Germany is up to 5th. Nick Thompson's in 8th. And Rudy Von Berg's cracked the top 10. So the top 10 spread apart by about 5,000 points. I don't think that we'll see too much movement, but 70.3 Worlds we still got on the docket here in 2 months' time.
It's going to be a Norwegian clean sweep, isn't it?
That's insane. It's so insane.
They're just like, you know what they are? They are what Sam Laidlow said to me on the run. They're so fucking good. The exact line he said to me, they're so fucking good.
And Laidlow's so good. So that's a hell of a...
Is there a higher accolade to get it from?
Not really.
And maybe unless Jan said it. I mean, I don't know. Like, that is an accolade.
Yeah. Should we land the plane? Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you for coming to the live show. Massive thank you to Craig Alexander, Crowie, for joining us and giving us a second chance here. Jamie, as always, thank you for giving some insights, and Kaiden Lieto, the man himself. So,
and I want to say one thing before we end this podcast.
Okay.
Pat got his media credentials turned into VIP credentials because there was some envious people.
This is good, this, by the way.
So Pat dedicates an hour of his week, once a week for an hour?
For the last 4 years.
So Pat is out. He runs all the financials of the podcast. He comes on every week. He consults endlessly on our graphics, our content, everything. And someone thought that because he's also an agent, he shouldn't get a media pass because it gave him slightly more athletes, slightly more access. Sad little joke.
So he gets to go behind about 3 or 4 more fences. So.
What do you 3 guys do on this podcast?
I do the show notes that no one looks at.
I honestly don't know what Mark does, and Mark probably doesn't know what I do because we don't do anything.
Me and Talbot would like to call the talent.
That's we use the term loosely.
I take the pictures, so we don't know what Mark does, but somehow in our end of the year ratings, he's the highest rated person, so that's why he's here.
Well, that is a talent.
Yeah. It's pretty awkward.
I'll give one more thanks to Nick from Wove because he's given away how many saddles have you given away now, Talbot, from Wove?
I only gave away 2, but maybe we give away another one.
By the way, Nick from Wove, he must have had a good day looking around transition. The amount of sexy double bottled back cages on these Wove saddles, which have only been around like 2 years. Mate, Wove saddles is a boomer.
The best part, I wake up at 4 a.m. this morning, I go to the bathroom, and Nick's scrolling on his phone. He's looking at the slow twitch thing of the numbers, and he goes, we're freaking moving.
Is that when you climbed off the bathroom floor after you're not?
No. That was 2 nights ago. So I've had a massive hangover night and a bollard that I've gotten in a fight with. So can't wait to see what's going to be in store next year.
We're ending the pod after your wrap up here, aren't we? We're cutting this whole bit out.
No. Hey, thanks everyone for listening. We're excited. We'll see you in the next one.